Chinese. Communicate. Different. Hard. Learn. Number. Prepare. Standard. United Nations.
Work in pairs. How many Arabic-speaking countries can you name? Palestine, Saudi Arabia, Algeria, Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, Kuwait, Mauritania, Morocco, Oman, Qatar, Sudan, Syria, Bahrain, Tunisia, United Arab Emirates, and Yemen.
I'm learning Arabic. I think I'm learning a lot.
Hey, well done! Are you learning Palestinian Arabic? People speak a different Arabic in different countries.
That's why I'm learning Standard Arabic. It will help me to communicate with people in a lot of Arab countries.
Good idea!
My teacher says the number of Arabic speakers is rising every year.
Yes, and it's one of the 6 languages people use at the United Nations.
Really? That makes it very important. One other important language is Chinese. The number of Chinese speakers is also rising all over the world.
Yes, I want to learn Chinese one day, but I think it will be hard.
English is also an important language, and you and I can speak in Arabic and in English. We're preparing our future every time we talk.
We're making our teachers happy too.
1. Are the boys talking about languages or countries? Languages. 2. Is the number of Arabic speakers rising or falling? Rising. 3. Can the boys both speak Arabic? Yes, but Jake is only learning.
Hard. United Nations. Prepare. Communicate. Learn. Chinese. Standard. Number.
Which word didn't you hear? Different. To read and circle the correct words. 1. I think learning Chinese is really hard. 2. People in Palestine speak different Arabic from people in Egypt. 3. Jake is studying Standard Arabic. 4. Jake is learning Arabic to communicate with lots of people. 3. Complete the sentences with words from Activity 1. Then match the sentences with the pictures. 1. The United Nations uses 6 different languages. D. 2. We can communicate in Arabic and in English. C. 3. The number of Arabic speakers is rising all over the world. A. 4. Learning Arabic will prepare me for the future. E. 5. You can speak Standard Arabic when you want to communicate in other Arab countries. B.
1. The United Nations uses 6 different languages.
1. The United Nations.
2. We can communicate in Arabic and in English.
2. She communicate.
3. The number of Arabic speakers is rising all over the world.
3. A number.
4. Learning Arabic will prepare me for the future.
4. We prepare.
5. You can speak Standard Arabic when you want to communicate in other Arab countries.
5B Standard. 5. Read the conversation on page 12 again and answer the questions. 1. Why is Date learning standard Arabic? To communicate with people in a lot of Arab countries. 2. Why is Arabic important? It is a language of the United Nations. 3. Can you name another important language? Chinese and English in the passage. 4. What is happening to the number of Chinese speakers? It is rising. 5. What language would you like to learn? French.
Artist, billion, businessman, Holy Quran, leader, Middle East, Russian, technology.
2. Work in pairs and answer the questions. 1. Do you like languages? Yes. 2. Why is it useful to speak languages? Language is what makes us human. It is how people communicate, by learning a language. 3. Which countries speak English? 93 countries: United States, United Kingdom, Australia, India, South Africa.
Arabic is a world language. About 280 million people speak Arabic in the countries of the Middle East and North Africa. Many millions more around the world understand some Arabic because it is the language of the Holy Quran. The number of speakers of a world language is always changing because the world is changing. The number of Arabic speakers is rising every year, but the number of Russian speakers is falling. English is like Arabic. The number is rising. More and more people are communicating in English every day. Why? Because people from different countries often speak English when they meet. Palestinian leaders speak English when they meet to talk about our country. It is the language of science and technology, the language scientists, doctors, businessmen and artists use. About 2 billion people speak English in countries like Britain, the United States, Australia and India. Many more are learning it in schools all over the world.
Read and tick the true sentences. Then correct the false sentences. 1. About 280 million people speak English in the Middle East and North Africa. False. About 280 million people speak Arabic in the Middle East and North Africa. 2. The number of Russian speakers is falling. False. The number of Russian speakers is rising. 3. The language of technology is Arabic. False. The language of technology is English. 5. Read and answer the questions. 1. What is the language of the Holy Quran? Arabic. 2. How many people speak English? About 2 billion.
Leaders, businessmen and artists use different languages to communicate. Arabic is often used in the Middle East. In India, people often use English. About 2 billion people speak English all over the world.
To read and circle the correct words. 1. People like artists are using English to communicate. 2. Arabic is the language of the Holy Quran. 3. English is the language of technology. 4. More than 1 billion people speak English. 3. Complete the sentences with words from Activity 1. Then match the sentences with the pictures. 1. English is the language of science and technology. 2. My father is a businessman. He can speak English and Arabic. 3. There are more than 8 billion people in India. 4. Have you ever been to the Middle East? 5. Do you know anyone who speaks Russian? A.
The world is growing more and more. We're speaking more languages more and more. We're visiting countries more and more. We're making new friends more and more. I'm preparing my future more and more. I'm working hard more and more. I'm learning languages, sciences more and more. I'm learning to fly more and more.
1. The world is growing. 2. More and more. 3. We are speaking more languages. 4. I'm preparing my future.
Present continuous. 1. Read and think. Look at the verbs. Then choose the correct words to complete the rules. I'm learning Standard Arabic these days. Are you learning Palestinian Arabic? The number of English speakers is increasing all over the world. We're preparing our future. The world is changing very quickly. We're speaking more languages. Is he visiting more countries? 1. We use the present continuous to talk about an action happening now. 2. We also use the present continuous to talk about things which are changing. 3. We use am, is and are when making the present continuous. To complete the answers with am, is or are. 1. What languages are you learning? We are learning English and Arabic. 2. Is the number of people in the world going up? Yes, it is. It is growing. There are about 7 billion people. 3. Are you using your English outside of school? Yes, I am. I am listening to more and more songs in English. 4. Hi. How's your family? Fine, thank you. My sister is growing up quickly. 5. Is your school football team playing well? No, it isn't. And the number of players is going down. 3. Answer the questions. 1. What languages are you learning? 2. Is the number of people in your class going up? 3. Are you using your English outside of school? 4. Is your town changing? 4. Work in pairs. Ask and answer the questions in Activity 3. Grammar. Present continuous. We use the present continuous tense to talk about an action or process happening now. We also use the present continuous to talk about change. We form the present continuous with the verb to be.
Hello, Fatima. What are you doing here? I'm here for my Chinese class. Are you learning Chinese? That's great. Yes, more and more people are speaking Chinese these days. What about you? I'm doing an English class. I'm only learning English this year. Perhaps I should do that too. Well, hurry up. Every week, more and more people are in the class, so the number of students is going up.
3. Complete the questions in sentences. 1. What are you doing here? 2. Are you learning Chinese? 3. More and more people are learning Chinese these days. 4. I'm only learning English this year. 5. The number of students is going up. One. Put the words in alphabetical order. Using a dictionary, alphabetical order. The words in a dictionary are in alphabetical order. When the first letters are the same, look at the second letter. 1. Language, learn, like. 2. Shirt, smile, standard, surprised. 3. Early, Egypt, England, everything. 2. Your name. From, Joe. Date, the 12th of September. Hi. Thanks for your news. You asked about my news, so here you are. So many exciting things are happening in my life at the moment. I'm going to a new school. It's much bigger than my old school. I'm learning Chinese. It's really difficult. I'm also listening to lots of new music, and I'm really enjoying the Palestinian music you sent me. Lots more to tell you. Pat. 3. Write correct sentences. 1. The number of students is going down. 2. More and more people in the world are communicating in English. 3. Are you reading more books in English? 4. Good idea. You can even study English in bed. 5. We're learning about English artists at school. I love it. 4. Think about changes in your life and write sentences about them. I'm listening to different kinds of music. Show your sentence to another student. She writes a question. What kinds of music are you listening to? Read and write an answer to the question. I'm listening to new Palestinian music. Show your sentences to another student. She writes a question. Are you listening to English music? Continue until you have answered 3 questions and written 3 or 4 sentences.
$400 million people speak English as their first language. But more than 1 billion people speak English or are learning to speak English as a second language, and the total number is going up. More and more people are speaking English at work. More and more students are using English when they're learning other subjects. 400 million people speak English as their first language. But more than 1 billion people speak English or are learning to speak English as a second language, and the total number is going up. More and more people are speaking English at work. More and more students are using English when they're learning other subjects.